Take, for instance, the remediation under the public safety building. In early summer, there will be drilling underneath this building in 8 different locations. If nothing is found, the area will be declared clean and activities ended. However, there is a possibility that even though nothing is found, there are still munitions in the building, under the building. The Army project manager even called this blind sampling. Another example is testing for a chemical called perchlorate in the groundwater. At a recent meeting, the Army said that perchlorate is decreasing in the groundwater. However, after some questioning, it was revealed testing has been done during summer and winter months, meaning different weather could result in different readings, and that wells haven't been consistently tested. Also, last night I found the Army had to cease all digging operations after coming into contact with a new volatile chemical agent last month that smoked upon coming into contact with the air. And they're now reassessing whether the public safety plan in place is sufficient. Another very important issue with this subject is public health. Exposure to chemicals can be dangerous. Information about potential health issues on AU's website is the tip of the iceberg. The information reads, quote, "There are no signs that anyone on campus has been or would be affected by exposure to arsenic in the soil. However, if you dig deeper under the water to the bottom of the iceberg, you find that there have been reports of rugby players playing on AU's athletic field that is being remediated, getting skin rashes after playing. According to a study done by the Northwest Current, 2 individuals in the same house over a 30-year span of time and from different families contracted the same rare blood disease called aplastic anemia. If you dig deeper, you'll also find the Johns Hopkins Spring Valley Health Study reports there are slightly elevated rates of arsenic-related cancers in Spring Valley, and there remains a lack of information on long-term effects of most AUES-related chemical weapons. My overarching observation is that there are 3 parties involved in the cleanup, and each has a reason to present information in a way that suits their own interests. There is AU, which is rightfully worried about the impact of the chemicals on the AU community, and as a tuition-based school is concerned with maintaining the university's high enrollment. There are Spring Valley residents who have put a lot of their money into their homes and are likely afraid that if too much information gets out, property values might plummet. Lastly, there is the Army Corps, which faces pressure to spend less taxpayer money on a cleanup that has already cost around $250 million. My observation is that the complete truth can sometimes be hidden by the interests of these 3 parties. In my research, I have come across unresolved questions that have yet to be answered. These questions include: 1. Are the chemicals underground causing sicknesses in the area? 2. Is the remediation being performed with sufficient thoroughness? 3. Will all the munitions and chemical agents be found with current operating procedures? 4. What is the plan for after the Army Corps is finished? 5. What safeguards are in place to protect against short-term and long-term human illness? And lastly, 6. Is the AU community being properly informed? I also have a few recommendations for the parties involved. I believe that AU should provide a fitting memorial or monument on campus to honor the atrocities of chemical warfare and our unfortunate role in it. I think that AU should provide an annual open forum with Army Corps representatives, the District Department of the Environment, and the EPA on campus to allow the AU community greater access to direct sources of information. I think the DC Council and the DC Department of Health should fund and conduct an epidemiological study that would prove or disprove if chemicals are linked to illnesses in the area, and should provide vigilant oversight of the parties involved. In order to get some answers to the unresolved questions I mentioned and increase transparency on the issue, I'll be hosting a panel next week for AU students, faculty, staff, and Spring Valley residents. I encourage you all to come to the panel. It will take place next Wednesday, April 21st, 6:30 p.m., Wesley Theological Seminary, in room K106 of the Kresge Academic Building. There will be signs once you enter Wesley campus. Unfortunately, I could not hold the panel on campus because AU would not allow an Army Corps representative to participate in the panel. Among other participants, there will be a representative from Johns Hopkins who was involved in the cleanup. Thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.